All right, so the big number we're not that concerned with, the 900 million. We know there's lots of people there. The average user has 130 friends. That's something that I want you guys to keep in mind when we talk a little bit later. Why we're still talking about it? Because women 55 to 65 continue to be the fastest growing demographic on Facebook. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I just showed you everything that we can do for you here locally, right? I'm going to build a dedicated Facebook page for your listing so that we can market on the largest website on the planet. Why? Because it's not just for kids anymore. The fastest growing demographic are women 55 to 65, which is a very desirable group for us to be marketing your property to. We're still talking about Facebook because 95% of all time spent on social media is spent on Facebook. So all those other sites we looked at, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Google+, all those just add up to 5% of the consumer's time, right? So still you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in terms of your time allocation here. Plus 1/3 of women 18 to 35 check their Facebook when they wake up before even using the bathroom. I don't know how this has any relevance to helping you win a listing or convert a buyer. I just thought it was interesting. Some facts and figures to keep in mind with engagements. Engagements are people commenting on your comments, liking your comments, sharing your comments on Facebook. Typically short and sweet is better to get the highest engagement rate. So if Twitter is 140 characters, they're saying 80 characters gets a higher engagement rate. Posting outside of business hours helps you get a higher engagement rate. Why? Because we see a lot of employers don't even allow their people in the office to go on social media 9 to 5. So posting in the morning, posting in the after 5 or in the evening. Asking a question, where, when, would, should. These are going to get you higher engagement rates, except for asking why. For some reason, why gets a lower engagement rate. So this obscure reference here to Highlander, anybody ever see this movie? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. What do they say all the time? There can be only one. So why we're using this reference? Because if you do it right in building your Facebook business page and separating your personal and professional life, there can be only one of that page. Okay? So creating a page, if you haven't done it yet, right on the homepage of Facebook at the bottom, there's a link to create a page. For those of you who haven't done it and have been waiting, you'll be rewarded for procrastinating, because on March 30th, all the Facebook business pages changed and had a different look. Okay, so if you would have created one before, you would have had to recreate the look anyway. Plus, very important part of it is owning your page, which we're going to talk about in a second. It used to be that you had to get 25 people to like your page before you could own the name of your page, and that's no longer the case. So you click on local business or place, choose your category, which will typically be real estate, and in here is where you name your business or place. That's where you're naming your page. So for those of you who have built the business pages, let me see, show of hands again. Who has a business page? You're starting. Anybody else have one? Okay. Well, if we have time at the end, if anybody has been putting it off and you want to just bang it out right this afternoon, we can do that. That's how quick we can get it done. For those of you who are going to do it today and commit to doing this as the one thing, go back to that branding exercise when you think about naming your page. Okay? Think about what you do and where you do it, because people aren't going to search by your name all the time. They search by what they want and where they want it. Okay? So naming your page is not just Burke Smith, real estate agent. Okay? It may be Green Valley Luxury Homes by Burke Smith, or Summerlin Short Sales by Burke Smith, or Relocate to Las Vegas with Burke Smith. Okay? I'm including my name with what I do and where I do it to name my page. Okay? Does everybody get that? So naming your page goes back to that branding exercise we just talked about. Now you don't need, yes? Can you change the name? Yes. You can change the name anytime you want, okay, until you have 100 people who like your page. And then you're stuck with that name, okay? So just to restate that, you can rename your page as much as you want, and you can build as many pages as you want. It just becomes a task of maintaining them and keeping them updated. So the 25 likes is an important distinction. So it used to be that you had to have 25 people like your page before you could request the URL or the domain name for that page. Now, how many people here have purchased domain names before? GoDaddy or register.com, right? Okay. So you buy that domain name, nobody else can have it. Well, with Facebook, the way it works is all of us can build a page in here and call it Las Vegas Real Estate, okay? We could all build it and it all have the same name of the page. It'd be the person who goes to facebook.com/username and requests the URL that would own it, and then nobody else could have it, okay? So only one person can own the domain name of the page. Now, of course, it's free. You're not buying it, but it's the URL on Facebook so that now you can be indexed and found in the search. Does everybody get that? So what you do, let me just jump on here real quick because I saw a few confused faces. Right, so this is something all of you will want to do today as well, because if you go to facebook.com/username when you're logged in, the first thing you'll see is it will tell you whether your username is already set. That means the username for your personal page, okay? So mine's facebook.com/BurkeJSmith because Burke Smith was already taken, so I got my middle initial. You'll want to go in and see if your name is available. There's a good chance that it's not, so you'll have a different version of it, but you'll want to set that username for your profile page. After that, it says each page can have a username. That's where you name your business page. That's where you get the username for your business page. So there'll be that drop-down box, and there it will display the names of all your business pages, okay? You can see how many I had in there. Now, this one here, I selected it, the username is not set, and there's a box that says enter desired username. And you enter it in all as one word. Okay, so even if you name the page and it has spaces and dashes in it, okay, in here you enter it all as one word because it's a URL. It's a web domain. And think of your Facebook business page like a website, okay? Does everybody get that? So this was the new look that it went to at the end of March. Here's an example with this agent. The name of her page is Luxury Long Island, luxurylongisland.com/Long Island Real Estate with Maria. You see how long the name is? Now, there's no corporation called luxurylongisland.com, but that's the brand that she represents. She owns that domain name. That's what she's using. Her business page is to direct traffic there, right? And there's a very good chance that your Facebook business page would outrank any website that you could build without spending a lot of time and money in search engine optimization. Here, there's a ton of SEO already built into it. So tying in what you do and where you do it with your name. For those of you, as a side note, we just talked about when you bought domain names. Many of you may have gotten some really good domain names for descriptive domain names with good keywords for the markets around here, and then you're thinking, now what do I do with all these domain names? Nobody's building websites anymore. Well, if you've got a good domain name, tie it to your Facebook page, okay? Name it whatever that domain name is and redirect the URL to your Facebook business page. I included here some of these slides, as I said before. We're not going to go through line by line. This is just a reference point for you to see all the dimensions of the new images for Facebook. For creating quick, easy, really good-looking Facebook page, there are a lot of free apps out there. This is one of them. It's called Scatter, P-I-C Scatter. It's free. Creates this cool-looking collage look from your photo albums. And timeline cover banner for more of a single image. Also allows you to customize it and is also free. A few new features on Facebook. One, milestones. So it's really not appropriate in your status updates in your timeline to be bragging about, awards you're getting from your company, or if you got something from the board or something that you're involved in the community, talking about career type of milestones. But in the milestone section, that's exactly what that's for. You switch companies, things like that. Highlighted posts and pinned posts are also new features. You got something cool you want people to see, properties, open houses, something you want to make a big deal of, highlight that post. Okay, it will expand the image and the comments across the full width of the page, right? So if you're familiar with the look of Facebook, instead of that single column like this one, it takes up the whole page. Pinning posts is important for things that you want people to see more often, but because it works in order of this chronological order of comments and updates, you might post something down immediately in the timeline because of how many other posts are going up there. So you'll want to pin it. There's that flag in the right corner of where you post your comment that will allow it to stay up there for 7 days. Okay? So I've included here, we're not going to go through each of these, some bullet points on great categories to comment on, things that you should be talking about as a local real estate expert in your markets that you should be commenting on social media. But the main thing I want you to do is concentrate on being interested versus interesting. It's going to cost you a heck of a lot more money, time, and energy to try to be interesting to somebody than to show that you're interested in somebody. Right? Today's consumer, it's what's in it for me. Okay, stop telling me about you. I want to know that you're interested in me. Okay? You've sent me 10 emails already about the first-time homebuyer financing opportunities, and I've bought 3 houses from you. Okay? Because what you're doing is you're blast emailing everybody in your database. So what you need to think about in your emails, and especially when you're posting to Facebook, is who am I talking to and why am I putting this there? People want your 2 cents. You're the local real estate expert. Why did you even put this on your page? Okay, I liked you. I liked your business page because I liked your commentary. Right? So don't take an article and copy and paste it from the Review Journal and just throw it up on your Facebook page and think that your work is done. Right? You need to explain, why is this there? Here's a great article for all of my potential investor clients. I know we've been saying for a long time, now's the time to buy, but specifically read paragraph 2 about the economy returning here in Las Vegas. Okay? Great article from the Wall Street Journal. Things like that, statistics. Explain how that's relevant in your local market, in your local niche. Who am I talking to? Why did I put this there? 5 most common mistakes. Agents who only post their listings. We have agents who broadcast. They're just spewing information out instead of creating a conversation. Okay, one-way conversations for radio, not for social media. Inappropriate content. Confusion between Facebook profiles, your personal page, and your business pages. Okay, people who put on their personal page the same exact stuff they put on their business page. They're just doubling up the same information. We see a lot of that, and no consistency. You can also drive people, as I said before, more people surf the web now from their phone than they do from a desktop PC, so we might as well use that to drive traffic, create likes to our Facebook page. Here, for example, you could text the word like HSA home warranty to 32665. And what that'll do is give us back this message that says, you like HSA home warranty, and we'll receive status updates. So for you guys, when you build your page, you can advertise to people offline and online, text like to whatever the name of your page is, to text like your page name to 32665, right? And then that will automatically get them to like your page. Text messages have a 95% open rate, right? So the very minimum, anything you guys are doing offline where your phone number appears, the very minimum should say call or text me. Call or text me. When you create that texting dialogue, not only is it more likely that they're going to see your message, okay, but it's also more likely that when they reply, they're texting you, that they're going to be more serious because they know you've got an accurate phone number. Okay? They're connecting with you. 2.5 billion text messages sent each day. Texting is the number 2 use of cell phones after checking the time. So make sure it's part of what you're doing because that's what the consumer's doing. And say the number 1 way that consumers finding their agent, the internet. Number 2, the yard signs. That sign in the yard is still the best sign or of credibility for you. So figure out, are you integrating something as simple as a sign with text codes or QR codes? We're not going to go in all that stuff, but think about what is that mobile connectivity to clients. YouTube. Now, I saw very few hands in here were raised when I asked about being on YouTube, right? If you are a listing agent, if you want to be a listing agent, if you want to win listings, if you would take a listing if I gave you one, you guys want to think about using YouTube as part of your marketing strategy, right? Why? 1, video is the best way still to convey emotion, right? And buying and selling a home is still an emotional process. The day that the emotion is taken out of that process, we're in trouble, okay? Because it's not point, click, submit, buy a house, right? You can't shake hands with a Facebook page unless there's a new app I haven't heard about, but still, this is a personal business, right? Well, not only all of that is valuable, but think about this. There's 3 billion views a day on YouTube, and 70% of that comes from outside the United States. Extremely important in a big international market like Las Vegas, okay? More video is uploaded in 1 month on YouTube than all 3 U.S. networks created in the last 60 years. So think about that. Think about the fact that when I'm talking to a potential seller, I could say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, on top of everything I showed you we do here locally, I've got my flip video camera on my iPhone. I'm going to shoot a quick video of your property. Before I even get back to the office, I will have it uploaded to YouTube because 3 billion views a day are there. 70% come from outside the United States. That's how we're going to reach the international buyer. On top of that, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to convert your video tour, your home video tour, into 43 different languages. How's that sound? Okay? If they want to attack the international buying community. Now, I'm not going to do that, right? But that's what YouTube does automatically because Google owns YouTube. So they'll do that automatically for your videos. Okay? Perception over reality. There's a good chance the buyer is going to come from around the corner. But to win that listing, I've just presented them with something that most agents don't even know to talk about. Why? Because 73% of homeowners say they would prefer to list with an agent who uses video. Yet, only 12% of realtors have a YouTube account. Okay? This is a big deal. This is one of the things that you absolutely want to consider integrating into your business. Because on top of all the other benefits we just talked about, Google owns YouTube, and those videos have the best opportunity to get you the top of the first page of Google for key searches and key phrases. So you shoot a video about luxury homes in Lake Mead or relocate to Las Vegas, that video has a better opportunity of showing up the top of the searches than you do your Facebook page, your websites. Does that make sense? This is a big one. We talk about Google Places, right? Google Places, this is where you have the chance to also be the top of the first page, the first page of Google for free, is using Google Places. So when I look at who's the #1 real estate agent in Las Vegas, I'm not talking about GCI or transactions. If 92% of buyers are going to start online, 75% of them are going to start on Google, showing up here, the top of the first page of Google is probably a pretty good thing if you guys could do that, right? Okay? So you're not going to be able to do it by just building a website without spending a lot of money in SEO, and you can definitely get there that way. Now, pay-per-click is another way to do it, and you can do it right now. If you want to do paid advertising, you want to show up here or here, that's the pay-per-click advertising on the first page. Now, only 15% of people will click on paid advertising. 85% will only click on the first page organic or the free search results. And that's what's down here. Okay, but these search results are dominated by companies who are spending a ton of money and are experts in search engine optimization, like Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, your boards, okay? A lot of those are going to dominate the organic search results. So your best opportunity for showing up #1 on the first page for what you do and where you do it is going to be in Google Places, because that's free. You go to google.com/places for business. That's supposed to have 2 S's up there. Google.com/places for business. Okay, you're going to get this option here, and you're going to get this form to fill out for your Google Places profile. The first thing it's going to ask you is company/organization. Now, you can put in there your name and your brokerage name. You can put your name and real estate agent. Okay? But what I want you to think about putting in there is 2 things. One, probably the best opportunity to be the #1 real estate agent in your market is to simply put in there your name / real estate agent. Okay? So Summerlin, Nevada, real estate agent. You could also think about putting in there whatever it is that you named your business page, right? So you can put in there Green Valley short sales, if that's what you want to show up for. Right? That's your niche. Here it asks for your website. Now, some of you have your own website. You can put that in there. But for those of you who don't, and even for those of you who do, to give yourself a better opportunity to show up, think about putting in your Facebook web address in there, the Facebook URL. Why? Because it's already the #1 website on the planet. So if that phrase in there matches the phrase on your Facebook URL, now you've got the #1 search engine looking at the #1 website, the same key phrase pointing to you. Does that make sense? Okay. Then you put in a description of what you do and where you do it, and select the category. Underneath here, I know it's hard to see, but there's a button there that says add another category, and you can click on that 4 times. It's very important that you make a note to do that, because the first one, Google forces you to use one of their default categories. In these 4 other boxes, you can type in whatever you want. You type in your own categories. Then when you're done, Google's going to send you a postcard with a PIN number on it. That PIN number is how you activate this Google Places profile. Right? So it's going to send that postcard to whatever mailing address you put in here. Right? And then you go live. Like I said, this is one of the things that you would want to prioritize because it's free. Now, we talked about a lot of different ways of communicating with our prospective clients. And there's a whole science behind generational selling. We're not going to go into all of that. But these are just good reminders there's three major groups that we're dealing with, the baby boomers, the Gen Xers, and the Gen Y. We've already agreed that they're all going to communicate with us differently. They respond differently to the things that we're offering. Now, there's plenty of baby boomers that are far more tech savvy than I am, but for the sake of time, we're going to just generalize here with these groups. And we see with baby boomers, they do probably prefer a more personal approach. You're not just going to hit them in a listing presentation and say, I'm going to get you on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Okay, I've got Pinterest ready to go. I'm going to set up text codes and QR codes. Here's where you sign. Okay, what you at least want to do is, if you are going to offer those things, provide the value of each of them. And that's why in this presentation you see me talk about so many different statistics, because all these statistics are used in listing presentations, right? They're not here just to fill PowerPoint slides, because they're there to support the value of why we're offering this to the client. The Gen Xers, this is the work hard, play hard group, right? They know all about technology. How is it going to save me time? Yeah, you're doing that. That's all great. How's this going to save me time? So explain to them why you're using it to save them time. You working 24/7 around the clock, okay, that may impress the baby boomers. It's not going to impress the Gen Xers if you're not including some sort of social life in there. Coaching soccer, being involved in PTA, whatever, okay? Then there's the millennials, Generation Y. It's a whole generation of people who have never heard a busy signal, okay? They want instant gratification. Now, they're going to communicate with you very differently. They have a very different use of technology, right? This is the group, you know, they're texting all the time, tweeting all the time, but they really need our help guiding them through the transaction process, okay? So they're a touchy-feely, emotional group. Let's find this house together. Let's work together to get this house sold. Okay, now, we'll talk about understanding, seeking first to understand, then to be understood, because all of those groups are going to react differently to our approach, but we need to have a way to talk to all of them. So if everybody is tweeting, Facebooking, blogging, texting, pinging, posting, and emailing, then nobody is door knocking, farming, calling, talking, writing, mailing, and living. Right? Your success is going to come from combining as much of these two columns as possible. Okay? Would you guys agree with that? Okay? It's not one or the other. Right? Our competition in many ways looks very different now. Okay? There's a lot of websites popping up. It's not always just the person in the cubicle next to you or in the office down the street. So we need to be aware of those things, but it's the local real estate expert that I believe that the consumer needs more than ever. Right? But if we don't have the tools, they can't find us, then they're not going to use us. So be prepared. Okay? Know your market, know your inventory, know your trends, know your numbers, and know your competition. Right? So I just alluded to that fact that it's not just the real estate agent. Now, why I say these reminders, they seem somewhat basic, but if people are spending 18 months online researching, there's a good chance that they might come to the table as informed, in some cases maybe better informed than we are. We don't want to get stuck not knowing about something, not being aware, and it's not, you can't be aware of every single site that pops up, but we talked about the major ones. You should at least know where they might have been. Maybe they were on Zillow, maybe they were on Trulia. Okay, we can't just jump into negative selling something just because we don't know about it or don't understand it, right? So knowing your inventory and your trends, the trends are not just about real estate specific trends, okay? You need to know what's going on in the marketplace. What are the economic trends? We're seeing restaurants open up. You know what, that's a great sign that life is coming back into the economy. Great time for our investing clients to maybe get ahead of the curve, jump in there, okay? Maybe those people who have been putting off selling, we're seeing trends that are not real estate specific, but real estate related that will get them to move forward and list with you, right? Knowing your numbers. Knowing your numbers is not just about your GCI or transactions, but how you compare to the rest of the marketplace, right? So if you're looking to win more listings in a particular neighborhood, maybe you've only sold one house there, right? But it turns out that fortunately your godparents were moving to that neighborhood and you sold the house in a month. And the time on market, the average time on market, is 4 months. So now you can advertise, you sell homes 75% faster than the average agent in that neighborhood. Okay? Perception becomes reality. You don't have to tell them it's only one house. Okay? The whole idea is look inside your numbers, compare it to the average agents in the marketplace. Maybe you have a better sold price to list price ratio. Why do we do this? Because numbers in the eyes of the consumer, numbers don't lie. They're seen as objective. It's not subjective. A lot of agents' opinions are subjective. Numbers they like to support because they don't want the I told you so factor. You should have used my friend, I told you so. Well, these numbers help get over that. Okay, so know your numbers. And if you don't have the numbers to support it, know your company's numbers. Just as kind of a side note, an idea for some of you, had an agent who came to me and she said, I've been in this game for a long time. I'm starting to see agents pop up who are taking business away from me, who shouldn't be taking it. What can I do to combat that? And I said, well, what is your advertising? And her advertising was looking for experience, call MJ, okay? So I said, well, what does that really say? Let's look at your numbers. It turns out that she sold $500 million worth of real estate in that county. So I said, change your advertising to say, looking for experience, over $500 million sold in this county alone. Okay, and her numbers went way up. Why? Just because that number is a huge number. Now yours might not be 500 million, it might be $1 million. Okay, over $1 million sold. I guarantee your friends, most of your friends haven't sold $1 million worth of anything. And so if you have been in the business, look at what the gross dollar amount of all your transactions on both sides has been. Make a big deal out of it. Okay, why? Because that's a great reason to use a local real estate expert. Know your testimonials and success stories, but think about having a variety of them to speak to those three demographics groups that we just mentioned. We talked about listening to understand versus listening to respond. Okay? Now this is something we're not going to go into this whole thing, but there's a whole science around really listening to today's consumer and then giving them a tailored solution for what they need, as opposed to immediately jumping into our spiel about how great we are and how great our company is. And remember, you only get paid on conversions, right? It doesn't matter if you've got 500 friends on Facebook if you can't sell your client's house, okay? It doesn't matter how many hits you get on your website if all the leads you're getting are people looking for 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 3,000 square foot houses with a strip view for $50,000, okay? Because those leads are just going to waste our time. So you got to concentrate on the conversions, and most of what we talked about here today are conversion tactics with what you're already using. Some tools you might want to think about using. Now, I don't own stock in any of these companies. I don't know anybody that works there. These are all things that agents have used to either win more listings, convert more buyers. There's a website called My Sphere of Influence, mysoi.com, obviously specific to real estate agents dealing with your sphere of influence. It's free, great source of content for anything real estate specific and real estate related. Constant Contact. Anybody here use Constant Contact? This is a great tool. I mean, I could talk about why it's valuable for brand new agents, and I could talk about why it's valuable for agents who've been doing this 30 years. Okay, no matter what part of the business you're in, if you ask me, Burke, what's one thing that's been consistently effective and works across all of those demographics, Gen X, Gen Y, and baby boomers, okay? I could tell you, I've had agents who do $8, $9 million a year in GCI, and brand new agents with zero experience use Constant Contact to get a listing and get a buyer. It has a 60-day free trial. Go ahead and check it out. If you're really cheap like me, every 60 days get a new email address and you can start a new free trial. But it's worth the 20, 30 bucks a month to have a third-party email marketing tool, okay? Why? Because this is a great way for you to tap into your sphere of influence, your database of contacts, start finding out, one, are any of these people still alive? Are they out there? What are they doing? What are they interested in? And then it pulls them in to anywhere else you want to send them, your Facebook pages, your website, okay, texting you, calling you, and you can track all of it. If I send it to 100 people, okay, I know exactly who opened it, who didn't open it, who deleted it. I know what people clicked on. I know if they're interested in my featured property. I know if they're interested in my market reports. Because now I know what they're interested in, I have a higher probability of converting them. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of them out there, MailChimp, iContact, but think about using a third-party email marketing tool because of all those other reasons of tracking it as opposed to just blasting people from your Outlook. Evernote, anybody here use Evernote? Very good. You like it? Great free app, organizational tool. I have agents who use it to keep virtual files on all their clients. They can store what they're interested in, what they liked about a particular house. I have agents who are using it to get feedback on listings. It's just a great organizational tool to check out. Dropbox, we hear about living in the cloud. Here's a great place for you to store all of your files without taking up a ton of space, but also it's a great way for you to share content with your clients because we send out huge files, right? So here's a way for you to send them huge files without inundating their email inbox. Zobni is inbox spelled backwards. Okay, what Zobni does is it goes into your database of contacts. Anybody that's ever sent you an email, it will automatically bring up that person's social media profile. So it will tell you all the social media that that person is on. So you get an email from Burke Smith on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you go boom, boom, boom to click and connect. Okay? It organizes everybody who's ever sent you an email into their own file. Reportive is the same thing if you use Gmail. Okay, so that wraps up part one of today's presentation. And take a break, come back, we'll do part two. It'll be another hour and a half. I'm just kidding. Now, what we're going to do here is I'm happy to stick around for any questions. I just want to go over this stuff. But where this bonus content is because we wanted to keep this to roughly an hour or so. So what you've got here is in here you want to find out more about LinkedIn and Twitter, how to use it. I've included not just the facts and figures of why to use it, but in here you've got top 10 step-by-step process of how to set up an effective LinkedIn profile, okay? As well as if you're interested in using Twitter, all of the information is in here about how to effectively build a Twitter profile and to utilize that in building your business. Now, why we don't spend a lot of time there is because the 10,000 agents a year that I speak to, nobody's come up to me yet and said, hey, Burke, somebody just tweeted me a full price, all cash offer with perfect credit and no contingencies. You know, it's tough to do that in 140 characters or less. But it has a tremendous value in terms of building up your exposure in the search engine. So at least get your profile set up there. And so here's a lot of good information if you're going to use it as to how to use it. Here's my email address, burke.smith@onlinehsa.com. If you have any questions or comments for me. And Lisa and Joe with HSA, I'm assuming all of you guys are already sending 100% of all your home warranty business to HSA. But if you're not, you should because that's what pays for my time. But seriously, check their emails out. Certainly I want to use them for home warranty, but they're also going to send you great information. Not only going to send you a copy of today's presentation, but they're going to send you great information about webinars that we're doing, other live events that we're doing. Tomorrow we're doing a free Facebook webinar. So find out from them about that, how you can sign up for that. It's going to be specific, 45 minutes dedicated just to all the changes to Facebook and how to customize that for your business. The reality of this stuff, folks, is nothing I taught you here today is going to help you win one more listing or convert one more buyer if you don't make a decision to implement at least one or two or three of these things. That's the difference, okay? This is a tough job. There's a few things in here that will make it easier. Nothing in here that I showed you is something that everybody in this room couldn't do themselves, okay? You all can do this stuff. If I can do it, you can. It's just a matter of setting the time and committing to doing it. What do you guys think? Was this good, worthwhile? Make sure they have your cards so that they can get you a copy of this presentation. Otherwise, they won't know where to send it. If you are interested in the one-on-one coaching, which is also free, that's another added value thing that we do. And talk to Lisa or Joe about that. And then we can talk specifically just about your individual marketing and technology needs. Okay? Well, good luck. I'm glad you guys came. Thanks for your time. I look forward to catching up with you on Facebook or someplace else. Good luck. Take care.